Hello, let's see what the message is for today. Happy and blessed and beautiful Sunday. The Wheel of Fortune reverse. The moon at the top of the deck and the Hanged Man at the bottom. At the bottom of the deck. Why do we have the Wheel of Fortune? Two of Cups in reverse, Temperance, and the Eight of Wands. Yeah, even though the Wheel of Fortune came out like in reverse, it's more or less like an energy. It feels like an energy of like leaving something like in the past. That's what it feels like, especially with the Hanged Man at the back of the deck, which speaks on just like surrendering and sacrificing, releasing, and whatnot. Yeah, it feels like leaving things in the past, like surrendering things, releasing things that perhaps might have been jamming the wheel, jamming your progression forward. With that Two of Cups there being in reverse, imbalanced connections, both external and internal, right? And then that followed by the Temperance card, which speaks on restoration, healing, um, balance, alchemy, everything of that nature. And then that followed by the Eight of Wands, which is like forward movement, like something coming in quickly, fast communication, but just things, the pace picking up quickly is the energy of the but that's just like in general, right? Like when you clear out space or you clear out your baggage or just something, right? When you release things or like let things or just let things go, whatever that you don't really need, that's like whatever, that's when perhaps you can walk faster or the car can go like move faster, things of that nature, right? In general, when you release the things that no longer serve you or no longer need to be there, that's when you can quite like literally progress forward even more at a better pace. Yeah, the Knight of Wands, the Queen of Pentacles in reverse, the Fool, and the Hierophant in reverse. I was just recording a video. I might post it more or less here about just how odd it is to have like maternal figures in your life that do everything but show up as do everything but show up like in that way or whatever. And I'm just saying it's interesting because like with this Queen of Pentacles, and that can just feel like a very neglectful kind of energy, but or it could also just be like an overextensive, that's the word, kind of like energy, whatnot here. But with the Two of Cups there being in reverse and the first card being the Queen of Pentacles, it's getting out of the energy of not prioritizing yourself, not taking care of yourself. And with the Fool card as well too, that's like embarking on a new journey, a new perspective, a new outlook, doing something differently. It's a clean slate. And then you also have the Hierophant in reverse. The Hierophant in reverse as well too when that's in reverse, it can be many things, but right now I'm gonna say it feels like going against the grain, unconventional, and it's kind of just like really like unlearning a lot of what you've been taught, or perhaps as well too what's been like the norm, perhaps what's been tradition for you. The Moon card. Why do we have the Moon card twice? Because we have the Moon card here. Why do we have the Moon card? I need to eat. The Moon card. The Empress. The Ace of Swords in reverse. And of Swords in reverse. The Four of Swords in reverse, that's like getting out of a period of just like rest, restoration, like taking care of yourself, just like regrouping, right? First card for the moon, we have the Empress. And in the middle, we have the Ace of Swords there in reverse. It's giving the energy of you've like allowed yourself to like really restore or heal your relationship like with yourself here, therefore putting you like in that Empress energy, but also too during like this restful period or just like this healing period that's just like self-care, which is always ongoing and whatnot here, but it kind of feels like a lot of things perhaps might have been illuminated, all the changes that perhaps needed to take place with that death in like reverse. But what is the moon? Specifically with the Ace of Swords in like reverse. Oh, look at that. Look how that came out. The Seven of Swords there and the Five of Pentacles. And it's focusing, I'm genuinely like focusing like on relationships. Like relationships, I'm not even talking about like romance. I'm just talking about like any kind of like family, friends, like whatever the fuck, right? Because we have that Two of Cups there and that focuses on connections. And I think that, yes, with the moon, right? When you pour the like love into yourself, it becomes clear when the connections like outside of you or anything outside of you is doing anything else like but that. More or less here is what I'm saying here. You know, the Seven of Swords, that's a very deceitful kind of energy. It's a very sneaky kind of energy. That kind of just feels like the moon. The moon doesn't also always like mean that kind of vibe. But also too the Five of Pentacles, that's like the feeling of being like left out in the cold. Being like left out in the cold. And it's funny because it's like what I was just like talking about like in my other video. It's just that like in general, this is funny. I was like literally just saying this, but it's interesting when you're surrounded by people who are in a position to help you out with something, not even just financially, but like also if you need like emotional support or something of this nature, or just like, yeah, right. It's weird to be around people who are capable of doing this stuff for you, but they purposely choose to withhold it, right? And especially when it's the people who you would least expect to do that, family, right? Um, and that's just simply not love. That's simply not like love at all. King of Pentacles in reverse. Yeah, that's simply like not like love at all. Um, because like in general, like love and control are just two opposite ends of the spectrum or whatever, because like to just like love a person, it means to accept them. It doesn't mean to play games, it doesn't mean to manipulate or anything of that nature, right? And if you have to do a whole bunch of like mind games or withholding to make yourself feel superior or better or bigger than, then you know, and generally, especially like as a parent. What's the Temperance card? Five of Pentacles again. The Emperor and the Knight of Cups. It's healing. It's the so Temperance card. That's healing, balance, everything of that nature here. And what is being healed and restored is that Five of Pentacles energy of feeling like left out in the cold, of feeling like you have to do it all for yourself, not feeling like there's support. The Emperor as well too. That's like, you know, stability. Stabilizing your relationship with yourself allows you to bring in a lot of things that can match that stability and to kind of help build upon that stability. The Knight of Cups as well too speaks on like offers coming in, support, I shall say. And what's the Eight of Wands? Look, Ace of Pentacles. And Knight of Pentacles, the Eight of Pentacles in reverse, and the Six of Cups. So the Knight of Pentacles, that's a very consistent energy that's like really like working towards something. The Eight of Pentacles in reverse though is a lack of consistency, like, because that's about like self like mastery and everything of that nature, commitment. So wait, why is the Eight of Pentacles reversed though? Three of Cups in reverse. And what do we say with that Six of Cups? Nine of Pentacles. And this is all for the Eight of Wands. So it feels like a message of support, more or less, here, right? To just don't think that the hard work and time and dedication that you've placed into something was all for nothing, is what I'm really meaning to say here. Yeah. Don't let it get you down, honey. Don't let it get you down, honey pie. But what is the Eight of Pentacles reverse and the Three Cups? What the fuck is that? The Hermit. It's kind of giving just like a doubtful energy. I'll say the Hermit has like a very secluded, isolated energy. Of course, it's like speaks on like going within and everything of that nature. But yeah, what I just like really feel to say is to just like don't be doubtful. And I keep seeing that Page of Cups there in reverse. Don't doubt that the things that don't give in to the illusion that the things that you've always dreamt of or wanted will never come to you. Don't give in to that illusion because it's simply just an illusion, right? When you really truly like want something, you'll have it, right? Sometimes it might require more time than others, things and whatnot here. But yes, like it can get like a little disheartening or discouraging sometimes, especially when you're in an environment and surrounded by people that reinforce that illusion that you'll not like have it, but it's just all an illusion. Really. Where are we going with this? I keep getting this Three of Wands here in reverse. The Page of Cups there in reverse. And the King of Wands. One of the descriptions for the Three of Wands in reverse is like wasted efforts. But we had the King of Wands here, which is like a go-getter kind of energy. It's a very confident, it's like in your face kind of energy. I'm gonna get what the fuck I want. The Sun, bitch. And the Page of Pentacles. With the Page of Pentacles, it's just allowing the situations you've been in to not mold you, but yeah, I guess mold you, teaching you to learn from. But not to let it make you a victim. Because, as I was, it's not to invalidate what one's experience is, but it doesn't do anybody any good sitting in it and wallowing it and making their whole identity. What can you gain and what can you learn from that experience, from that situation? What does it teach you? What does it teach you? Who does it teach you to be and not to be, right? Because, like, also, like, as well, too, like, in general, anything that's, like, rooted in fair, control, confinement, whatever, like, there's always a reason to that. There's always a reason to that, because on the other side of that is something so much more fulfilling, so much more abundant, and beautiful. How did we get here? How did we get here? Huh. But I guess, like, wrap this up and just, like, sharing what's on my mind, to be honest with you. I'll never understand, and may I never understand. It's not, it's unfortunate, right, that, like, people will see something in you that brings out resentment in them, and because of that, their treatment towards you, is just very much backhanded and just not the vibes, right? It's very unfortunate, right, when people see something in you that triggers them and they want to squash you down. And it's even worse when it's from family. You know what I mean? Like when it's from family or whatever. Nonetheless, resilience. That teaches a person resilience. It's unfortunate, but what doesn't kill you, honey, will only make you stronger, honey pie, okay? Um, I'll have my moments sometimes where I get like sad about some things and whatnot here. But then I remember everything that it's been teaching me, all that it's taught me and who it's made me now, and you know, it's showed me what kind of person to be and not to be. You know what I mean? And of course, it would be nice to be around people and to have like family who kind of support you, basically, who who support you and who are rooting for you. It would be nice to have that, but sometimes that's not always the case. But but it teaches you to be your own foundation, your solid ground. And it's important not to like kind of like allow that to push you like in a hyper independent kind of route, because we do need people. We do need people, right? We need people, right? But in the meantime, right, being surrounded by people who kind of just want to see you down only makes you stronger, the sense of, yeah, like I said, you become your strongest like foundation. And but that's the way it should be. You know what I mean? Because yeah, it's nice to have support or whatever, but it's one shouldn't have to I don't one shouldn't have to rely on that, on like external like support or whatever. Like, and I'm not saying that there's anything wrong with wanting support, because like I said, we need people, all with balance, right? Don't go pushing people away, but don't go needing people to the point where you don't trust yourself or believe in what you're capable like of or whatever. You know, like it just simply has reinforced time and time again that I got me. And knowing how much I got me, it reinforces how much love I have for myself, and, to not let other people's projections, interfere or get me down or whatever, right? Let's end this with one more card. Like, let's just see where we split. Page of Pentacles again. What are you going to make out of that experience? What are you going to make out of that experience? What are you going to make? What are you going to create? In my other deck, the Page of Pentacles, it's like a page, like, well, yeah, like looking at like at a tool, and it describes the page as like, as recognizing the importance that that tool has, right? It's not just some random thing, but it has importance. And realizing that importance as well too can like help you really bring in some, it can help you create something, start something, do something. And so yeah,